President Joe Biden is still convinced that if he had been the Democratic nominee, he would have beaten Trump. Really? Well, yep. The Washington Examiner reports Biden and his aides confront idea he still could have beaten Trump. President Joe Biden and his close aides are evaluating his legacy in the waning weeks of his administration, including whether the 2024 election will define it. You darn bet it will define it. Biden and several aides have reportedly told People recently that he could have beaten President-elect Donald Trump in spite of his poor presidential debate performance, low approval ratings, and growing concerns about his cognitive functions. Yeah, his approval rating was in the 30s, so not really a good omen going into an election, being an incumbent president with an approval in the 30s. Biden ended his campaign on July 21st. Months later, after the Democrats' bruising election defeat, Biden is standing by his belief that he could have won re-election, according to aides speaking with the Washington Post. While the president acknowledged that he screwed up during his June debate against Trump, he has suggested he still thought his focus on America's long-term success would carry more weight with voters than fluctuating issues such as inflation. He also recognized the changing media landscape as a factor in his campaign's downfall. "We pick what news we want to hear. It's a totally different deal," Biden said in a podcast interview this month. "We've got to figure out how we deal with this significant technological change. If Nixon was more accustomed to television, he wouldn't have perspired so much, and he would be president when he'd beat Kennedy. I know that sounds silly, but think of the changes taking place. Where do you go? What is true? We have no evidence anymore. I'm not sure how that gets resolved." Well, I will tell you that to the extent that Biden thinks that he would beat Trump, that is certainly the emotional side of his brain thinking rather than the logical one. The emotional one in the sense that we all want to feel good about ourselves. We all want to feel that if we were the ones at the steering wheel during that crucial moment, election day here, we would have done things right. We would have won. The American people would have come through or whatever. That's purely emotional. It's not logical at all. It doesn't pay any attention to the fact that his own internal polling showed him losing 400 electoral votes to Trump, that the economy was still a very important issue to Americans, that a lot of people, like over 80% of people, according to polls, thought that Biden was too old. And as I said, I mean, just low approval rating, perception that he's old, economy, it's just the perfect storm to cause his defeat. And that debate performance was one of the worst debate performances ever. So look, please don't send this video to Joe Biden if you are close with him or you're one of his aides, because I don't want to ruin his parade. I do think that he is allowed to be convinced that he would have won. He's allowed to just chill out in his own delusion and not have a guy like me come in and say, well, actually, logically, you're wrong, sir, because of all of this stuff that I've paid attention to. You know, people can live in their alternate realities if they want. And certainly Biden, as a president living in his alternate reality, is not an exception. We know Trump lives in an alternate reality. And yeah, it's not a big deal. We'll let the guy enjoy his retirement and think that he would have beat Trump. But yeah, the 2024 election is going to be part of his legacy. It is. There was a CNN anchor, I believe, or commentator, who said that he's just going to be known as a guy who was between the two Trump terms. And yeah, he had a lot of momentum going into 2020, or as they like to say, Joe-mentum. But he kind of squandered that by 2024. He kind of did. And that debate performance at the end of June was just the cherry on top. So yeah, do you think that Biden would have beat Trump? Do you think it would have been a 538 electoral vote landslide? Do you think he would have won Alabama and Mississippi and Texas and all that stuff? I don't know. Maybe you're a Biden bro and you think he would have done this and he was way better than Harris and you were crying when he lost. Let me know in the comments. I always welcome some unpopular takes on Biden. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a happy new year. This should be coming out on New Year's Eve. So please enjoy yourself, have a good time, smile, reflect on all of your accomplishments in 2024, and I will see you in 2025. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.